Okay, so now you're given this type of proportion to solve. And again, I will try to follow this almost similar to Nora's and Parker's method, but I'll do it my way. Okay, so the first things first is to identify your variable. So notice my variable will be located right here, which is the Q. So Q is my variable. Okay, now like we discussed in the beginning in week 1 when we did the 4 fours, remember we discussed that these colons right here mean divide. Okay, so what I'm gonna do is rewrite this, okay, into proportions. So I have here 8 correct over 15 questions. So 8 correct over 15 questions is equal to, and I get equals because of this equal sign here, is equal to 24 correct out of I don't know how many questions, so I'm going to put Q, just like that. All right. So the way you would solve this one is that I personally do not like the variable in the bottom. It just doesn't gel with me that well. So what I do is I flip this around. I do the reciprocal of this fraction. So what I do is this. That way it becomes easier for me. So I put Q on the top and 24 on the bottom. Okay, I did that right here. Since I did that here, I could also do the same thing to this fraction here. If I take the reciprocal here, I must do it over here as well. So I'm going to put 15 over 8. Okay, now it becomes a little easier to do. I have the variable here on top Q. Okay. All right, just like before, I want to isolate the variable here. So notice that this bar means divide. So I have to undo division by multiplying. So what I'm going to do is go ahead and multiply by 24 on both sides of the equation. Just like that. Okay? And just like what we practiced before, you make every whole number into a fraction because I'm dealing with fractions. All right. So then what we're going to do is go ahead and multiply 24 and 15 together. All right, so then if I go ahead and do that, so I go right here, type in this right there, go right here, okay. So I move the tab over, it makes it easier for me. I go here and I go, okay, I multiply 24 times 15. So I put 24 times 15 and I get 360. Okay, so I'm going to write that here. 300, whoops. I put 360. And then I'm going to multiply 8 times 1, which I get 8. Okay, and then on this side, I'm multiplying the variable here times this whole number. 24 times Q gives me 24Q, okay, divided by, and then I multiply 24 times 1, which gives me 24. Okay, next thing I want to do is divide. So I'm going to divide these two first because it's a little easier. 24 divided by 24 gives me 1 whole. So I get 1Q. Okay, and then I go ahead and divide these right here, these two. Okay, so what I do, if I want, so I could use the calculator again, but I need to show that I know how to do some math here. So what I'm going to do is take this and put it to the side. So I'll have 8. I'll have 8 going into 360. Okay, so 8 can go into 3 evenly, so it can't go in. So then I multiply 8 times 0, I get 0. Then I go ahead and subtract. Okay, and I get 3. Then I bring down the 6. Okay, then I go ahead and divide 8 into 36, which is, it goes in 32, so 4 times. 4 times 8 gives me 32. Then I subtract and I get a remainder of 4, but then I bring down the 0. Then 8 goes into 45 times. 5 times 8 gives me 40. Then I subtract that, I get a remainder of 0. So right here, I get 45. Okay, so what that means is that when I have, so I'll write it right here, when I have 24 correct Okay, when I get 24 correct, I'll have 45 questions. Okay, 45 questions, right? So this is the way you would do it to solve it. But let's say you're a student that sees that's better at multiplication, right? So let's suppose you go, okay, I have this, so I still set it up the same way. 8 over 15 is equal to 24 over q. Now some of us are really good. We see the pattern between 8 and 24. What do I mean by that? Well, some of you will notice that to go from 8 to 24, I could multiply by 3. If I do it to the top, I have to also do it to the bottom. It's kind of like the tables we're doing. If you do it to the left, you do it to the right. So I go ahead and multiply by 3 here as well. If I multiply 15 times 3, 15 times 3, okay, 3 times 5 gives us 15, and I carry the 1. 3 times 1 is 3, plus 1 more is 40, so I get 45. So notice that Q here is also going to be 45 if I do this method here. So again, it just depends what you see. You could see it this way, or you could see it this way here. It's up to you how you see it.